Hi cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem Edition, Season 2, Episode 1, Prism. All right, so by the name of this is all about Prism. So we find out in this episode, let me just set this up. So we find out in this episode that everyone is wanting to get their hands on this Prism, and it's actually three of them. And so they're wanting to get their hands on this because when you get all three together, they found that it actually cures diseases, and it's a medical marvel. And it was created by Victor, and he was actually Larry's father. It was created by him, and so all these people have been searching for it. So that's how we set up the actual first scene, which is Eileen, who is playing, reading off that Kristen is in prison and all that, because, she played that character for forever and a day. So she's reading off about how Kristen is in prison right now. She was caught trying to help Lonnie escape and everything, because, again, this is all up to date as everything is happening. So then we see that there's a man there. His name is Phil. And he says, he speaks to Eileen, her character on the show. He speaks to her and he says, "Hey, my name is Phil." She doesn't tell him her name, but she tells him it's not, nice to meet you. And then he says, "I'm a professional gambler. What do you do?" And she says, "Human resources." And he says, "Tell me what company." She said, "You don't know, the company is too small." And so she says, "Have you won anything lately?" He said, "Actually, last night I won an artifact." And she said, "Okay." So now she's intrigued and she's like, "Okay, tell me more about this." So he said, "I'll tell you over a glass of whatever you're drinking." So we later on see them sitting down. They're sharing a bottle of champagne, and they're out of the bottle of champagne. Now, because Kristen knows he has this artifact, she's actually making the moves on him. He's trying to get more information about her, but she says, no, I want to know about you. So he tells her more information about himself, right? So then, the bottle of champagne is empty, and she says, "Why don't we?" He was like, "I'll order another bottle." And she says, "How about we take it up, to your room?" And he's like, "Okay, sounds good to me." So they go up to his room and everything, and she asks him, "Hey, do you have protection?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he goes to this case, and he opens it up, and we see the artifact in there. Which is the prism. He has it in there, and so she sees this, and so he gets the protection and everything. They sit on the bed, and they're making out, and he runs his hand up her thigh, and then he stops and he drops to the floor, like falls on the floor, and he was like, "What is this?" And then she starts taking off all her attire and everything, and we see underneath, she has on her Spanx and all that kind of stuff, that is actually a man, and the man is Thomas Banks, Susan Banks' brother, and he is a hired assassin, and and so he tells he kills Phil, and he takes the artifact and everything. So then we go over and we see John and Steve talking to Megan. And she's letting them know what's happened to her, how she's still alive. Because they're like, "How are you still alive? I thought Larry killed you." And she says, "Yeah, but no, he did. But my father saved me. He put her in a state where Dr. Rolfe would be able to bring her back once he had, once they got all the right procedures they were able to do, and then know how to bring her back. He was able to bring her back from whatever state that he put her in." Y'all, it's much. It's days. We got to roll with it. So he was able to bring her back and everything. And she's like, "Okay." And so they tell her, "Don't you do anything to my family." And she said, "Your family is safe for now." And they were like, and John and Steve are both like, "If you hurt them, like, we will, hurt you or whatever." So then we see Thomas comes in, right? And they were like, "Thomas Banks." And, they know him and everything. And he has the prism for Megan. And so she sends him the money via Bitcoin to, take care of everything. And she buys it off of him. And she tells him, "But, I don't," he was like, "You not have any more work?" She said, "Not right now, but stay reachable, because I'm going to have something for you later on." And so we find out that there's three of these around. And Larry, the man who killed her, his father name is Victor, and he actually created these. And it's three of them. And once you connect them all together, they open up such medical advances that you're able to cure all types of diseases and I guess all types of diseases, and you're able to do medical marvels is what they're saying and everything. So she wants all of them, of course. And but she's not the only one. So we see here that she tells them that there's an exhibit tomorrow night in Hong Kong, and she wants Steve and John to go and get her the prism. And they're like, we're not gonna help you. And she's like, oh, she pulls out these two cards. Y'all know days. They be all in the weird stuff. So she pulls out these two cards and she says, well, weird to some people, not to all. But and she tells them, by the end of this, you won't be able to deny. I said, well, are you going to put a chip in them? Are you going to put them under some kind of spell? What are we doing now? So she said, you won't be able to deny, you won't be able to stop yourself from helping me. And she pulls out these two cards. And so that's that. Okay. That's the end with them. So then we go to, Paul and Andrew. Now remember, Andrew is Shane's son. And so he's supposed to be there to help Paul find out where John is. So, Paul tells him everything. And so they start looking on the video to see, okay, how did Michaels come in how did he come into your apartment? So they see that, okay, he came from the gym. So they go down to the gym. Now, Roman is playing a character named Chris. I said, yeah, we gonna roll with it. So Roman is playing a character named Chris, and he is saying like, Michaels is always here. He always wants a guest pass. Even though he's been coming here for a while now, he always just wants a guest pass. He never wants to go ahead and sign up for anything. And they're like, okay. And they say that Chris tells them he's usually here about now going to the hot tub. And they're like, okay. And so he goes to the hot tub, and they go to the hot tub area because they're like, okay, well, if he usually comes by the hot tub at this time, let's go to the hot tub area, because that way it won't be weird. Like we're following him in. We're already there, so he won't be suspicious of us. Okay. So they get in the hot tub and everything. And when they come in, a man follows right behind them, and he starts messing with the breaker box. So Paul and Andrew are talking, and we get to know a little bit more about them. We find out that Andrew is gay as well. And they both talk about how great their families were with their, with them coming out and everything. And, how they got so much support. Let me see. How they got so much support with their families as they came out. And I'm sorry, I'm just reviewing my notes. Okay, so while they're doing this, the man on the hot tub, because they're bonding and talking, he turns the switch. And I was like, oh my gosh, y'all didn't see this man come here and mess with the breakers. But they did. Andrew did. He said, I clocked you as soon as you came in, after we came in or whatever. So, they're trying to not to let the man leave, and Paul ends up clocking the man and knocking him out. And Andrew said, why you do that? Now we can't interrogate the man because he's knocked out. So then Chris comes and he's like, I'm so sorry, which I thought Chris had something to do with it, because he said the hot tub was to die for. And we know that Megan was supposedly had died in the hot tub, so I thought he had something to do with this, and we'll see if he did or he didn't, because it might come up later on in the show. But he just tells them, I'm so sorry, I can't believe this happened or whatever, and he gives them, but I guess he didn't, because he gives them a key to Michael's locker at the club, and he at the gym, and he said, if y'all had just told me you were with ISA and all that, I would have just let y'all know or whatever. So when they get the key, they find out his name is Harris Michaels, and that they find out that he's on his way to Hong Kong because he's gonna attend this gala that's hosted by the DeBarras or whatever. And so they're like, okay, we're going to go on our way to Hong Kong, because they're looking for Michaels and Harris Michaels. They're looking for him, which y'all remember yesterday I told you, that's Steve Burton's character. So we found out his first name today is Harris Michaels. All right. And so they're on their way to Hong Kong, and that's it with them, y'all. All right, so then we go to Tripp and Joey. So Tripp and Joey go back to the hotel. Now Uncle Shane has been there, but we don't see Uncle Shane. The ISA has been there. Supposedly everyone's been there, and he said they probably worked this this apartment over really great, really good. But they said, but you never know, we could find something. So Tripp and Joey go in and they say, they're going into the apartment and everything. And they say, wait, somebody's in here. So they go to the back to look. And then when they come to the front, they see somebody running out and they're like, hey, buddy, or whatever. But it's not a guy. It is actually a woman. And her name is Shin, Wendy Shin. And she's actually related to Lee Shin. Remember, Lee Shin is the one who's, he's helping the DeMeros right now. He's a shareholder. Well, this is his sister. He's dating Gabby. This is his sister. And so she's trying to prove herself to her father. So she's a lowly IT tech somewhere in Alaska or whatever. And she's like, I could do better than this. I'm just as good as my brother and everything. So, once they grab her up, they find out all this information. They had a little tussle or whatever, but they tell her, until you give us some information, we're not letting you go, or we're going to call the ISA or the police. So this is when she starts telling them who she is. And they say, okay, but so why are you in our apartment? And she says, I'm looking for this man. And they said, hey, that's the pizza delivery guy. And they were like, yeah. So she was like, he has this prism that I think he has it. And so she tells them about what the prism is and how it could change the medical landscaping. And so she says, well, I'm looking for him because I need to prove myself to my father. And Joey was like, yeah, I know about that, overachieving and siblings. And he looks at Tripp and he was like, so, and his sister is very successful as well. So he was like, so I get why you would have to do that. And she says, well, there's this thing going down tomorrow in Hong Kong, and I think the prisms are going to be there. And if I could just find him, I feel like I could find all of the prisms. And so they're like, okay, well, let's go to Hong Kong. So all three of them are now going to go to Hong Kong to look for these prisms. Let's see, who else was on here? Okay. It's okay. So that's pretty much it with them. So then we go over and we see Hope. So Harris Michaels is there with Hope, and Sierra and them are like, what is going on here? And so we find out that he met Hope in Greece. Remember, he was on that boat, but he met Hope in Greece and everything. And they've been kind of dating each other for a while now. I think like a year, something like that. And so he tells them, like, he knows them all. He knows Sierra, Ben, he knows the family. Hope has told him all these things. And Sierra's like, well, she ain't told us not one thing about you. And so she's just like, we don't know who you are, but Hope is just, I don't think Hope completely trusts him because of the way she acts around him. She acts cautious around him. So I don't think she completely trusts him, but she is in a relationship with him and she's talking to him and doing, he comes into the house, he sits down, he says, I interrupted your breakfast. Oh, and we also find that he actually went to Salem back in the day. He grew up in Salem. He left early and he actually dated Eve. He hates the way he treated Eve, but Sierra's like, well, she's not a nice person herself, so it's cool. Or whatever, but he regrets how he treated Eve. Okay, so we know he's working directly with Megan. So he leaves and he tells them, I'll make y'all lunch or whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. So he leaves and he calls Megan and he tells her, Hope's family has come, but I'm not going to let that stop me from getting what I need. And she was like, okay. And so then we see he comes back. He's made lunch like seafood, crab legs, and all this kind of stuff. And then he tells Sierra, a little birdie told me you love tiramisu. And she was like, no, I'm full or whatever. She did enjoy that lunch, but she didn't want to come up because she like, you're not my daddy. So anyways, then we see that, they're just getting to know each other. Sierra is asking him a lot of questions, trying to figure out things, and he even tells Megan Sierra's there asking a lot of questions or whatever. But he has his story together, and so Sierra and Ben say we want to go take a walk on the dock, and Hope is like, put on you some clothes or whatever, cover up a little bit, because y'all know Sierra dresses, it's Sierra. And so the next thing we know, Sierra is like, oh, and I said, what he doing back there behind Hope? So Hope turns around. Harris Michaels is down on one knee proposing to her, talking about, I know we haven't known each other long or whatever, but I wanted to ask you, you changed my life, yada, yada, yada. You know this speech, how they go. He said, will you marry me? Now, remember, yesterday, both said whenever Hope lifts that eyebrow and her lip thins, and she's lying. And so she told him, she lifted her eyebrow and everything and said, yes, I'll marry you. And I said, well, is she lying, or was that just a facial reaction or whatever? But anyways, so, he gets up and they kiss or whatever. And Sierra and Ben are just in shock. Now, up in heaven, Bo is going off. He like, who is this man? I don't trust him. And so Loretta, Divine Angela, is telling him, because he's like, I need to go down and help. And she was like, no, because last time you went down and helped, you broke rules. And he said, I'm not going to bring nobody back to life. I just want to go down and warn my family. He said, because I don't trust this man. And she said, you don't know anything about, you don't know that he can't be trusted or whatever. And you wasn't supposed to cut on the streaming anyways. Yeah, I can't with days, but I'm doing it anyway. She was like, you're not supposed to be cutting on the streaming anyways. And he was like, I need just to go down and see what I can do. Let me go down and just see if I can help. Because there's something weird and off about this man. And after hearing the phone conversation and all that, he's just like, they need my protection. And now that the man has proposed to Hope, he really wants to go down and, see what's going on. And I think this is part of Hope's case that she's not telling about. But anyways, everyone is headed off to Hong Kong. Hope and they're not going there yet, because I believe they're going to be going as well. But everyone else is headed off to Hong Kong to see, how they can help. And that was Beyond Salem, Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem, guys. I'm sorry if I missed anything. I tried to pack it all in. It was a lot going on, but I think we know the premise now. Of what's going on. They're all after this prism, this artifact. Megan has one and she's looking for the other two, and other people, the Shins, are looking for this as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you later on. Bye.